Okay, I have the Menifee Maniac, Fernando Gonzalez, back on the show. He's going to be facing Maki Pitolo next for Tuff N Uff in their main event on March the 4th. Fernando, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm here at CVAC getting my sessions in and getting my recovery in over a hard week.
I can imagine. Can you show the viewers what like where you're at and what it looks like? Because you showed me a little bit before you went live. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so yeah, we're like kind of like in a space pod here. Let me. That's our monitor right there. It kind of goes over different elevation sequences. I'm on tier six, so that gets me up to like 26,000 feet, and then crashes me back down to sea level. So it just helps reproduce or produce red blood cells at a faster rate, which helps heal the body a lot quicker. I'm gonna jump out of it real quick so you get a look from the. So just sit in that. Got my water, my book, and just kind of chilling here until my body feels good again.
Man, the perks of being a professional fighter, right?
Oh man, it's crazy how much this thing helps. Actually, a lot of fighters are starting to use it a little bit more now. I know Henry Cejudo uses it, and they were using it at a place called Ascent. Their CVAC is the one who sent it to Ascent. That's where Chris Cyborg, Rafael Dos Anjos, when they were doing their fights in UFC, the all access, they showed the machine, but they didn't really specify what it does.
Yeah.
They try to keep it a secret.
Very cool. Yeah, if I ever make my way out to Cali for a visit, I'm gonna have to check that out. Tell me, outside of the recovery methods that you're using, how is this camp been? I know the fight was recently announced.
It's been good. I knew that it was gonna happen possibly a week or two. It was you really don't know until you get it signed. But I already had an idea of it, that it was a possibility. So it's pretty much been almost a full 8 weeks camp that I'll have for it. And yeah, so I mean, anytime I have a proper camp, I know I'm gonna do well in my performance, and it just gives me enough time to get ready for the fight and the type of athlete that I'm gonna be facing. So Maki's a very tough guy. I've seen him fight even before I knew I was gonna fight him. And I always knew he was a tough opponent.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that was in the UFC, so he's got a big name. He is on a 4-fight skid right now, 4-fight losing streak. What do you think about the current state of his abilities? Do you feel like he's fallen off a little bit?
No, anytime you're fighting against guys in the UFC, they're the toughest guys on the planet. You don't get in the UFC without being good. So he's obviously faced stiff competition. I think right now it was more him trying to find his groove, what he wants to do, how he's gonna fight. So I think that affects a fighter when you're kind of learning as you're going, and when you're learning that against some of the top guys in the UFC, or tough guys that are up and comers as well. Sometimes you're gonna lose, and some of those fights he was actually winning. It wasn't like Julian Marquez. He was winning that fight at 2 rounds to 1, and then the last round he got submitted. It wasn't a shitty performance. He was doing well in all his fights, I think. And things happen. You're fighting against the best, and it just played out the way it did. But for me, it's actually kind of good because it's given me my opportunity to fight somebody that tough with a name, and hopefully it'll get me in the UFC.
Yeah, well, that was actually going to be my next question. What does a win over Maki Pitolo do for you? Do you feel like, you do get into the UFC next, or maybe it opens doors to get into another big promotion? Like, where's your head at as far as that goes?
Right now, I think it'll get my name in there as far as since it's in Vegas. It's Tuff N Uff is a Vegas show. So I know a lot of the UFC brass and those guys go to Tuff N Uff to watch the up and coming guys. There's like maybe I think there's like 20 to 30 alumni from Tuff N Uff that are in the UFC now, if not more. So I know it's like kind of like their farm league for the UFC. So if right now my main task is to put on a good performance against Maki. If Tuff N Uff continues to promote me and keep me there, then that's who I'll stay with until I get that call. But if not, then I'll just keep giving the fans a show there.
Okay. And Fernando, I've been interviewing you for years now, and you were a well-known Bellator fighter, someone that had a lot of success with the promotion. Is there any chance that we could see a reunion with Bellator, or are you more focused right now on, doing your thing for Tuff N Uff and maybe getting into the UFC?
Well, I think right now I'm, Tuff N Uff would be more closer to the UFC because they're in that same city, same town, So I would think that would be the closest thing. I would never count out Bellator. I did love fighting for them as far as the opponents and everything. And a lot of the staff I still am very good friends with that I like and I care about. And the ones that I really didn't have we had our disagreements. I didn't really like hate them or anything, but the ones that I did have my disagreements with, they're all kind of gone now. Not all of them are there. And so if they ever wanted me to come back, I would definitely come back. I love to compete against the best, and that's just my main focus right now. But I think the UFC, Bellator, or even PFL would be a great fit for me. For either one of those. I don't mind traveling, but I prefer to stay in the States now. Like I did my traveling, I love that. That was fun. But I did feel like it affected me in my performances on some of them. And I prefer to just kind of stay closer to home to fight.
Okay, fair enough. Well, March 4th is still a ways out, so we got some work to do leading up to the fight. Is this camp going to be any different for you, or are you going to be pretty much, same training partners, same day-to-day routine leading up to this fight with Maki?
It'll be kind of similar, but we have Joe Stevenson in our camp now, and for some time now he's been our head coach. So my game plans and obviously one thing about Joe is if I know I'm good with my submissions, but he has 2 to 3 more submissions off of my submission that he adds to my game. And I've been improving a lot in the off time basically. So my scrambles will be different, and I think my overall game has just improved, and he brings in guys from his gym from Victorville. So yeah, there's a lot of and actually he's doing a kind of like a fight camp where we're all meeting together, different guys that he knows, like Juan Archuleta, Bobby Green, the guys from our gym, freaking Jeff, Creighton, and just a bunch of different guys, Sam Alvey. So just different camps that are actually hey, let's get together, let's get a good fight camp going, and obviously good opponents to be training with. Another one's Richie, I can't pronounce his last name, Roder. But Richie, he's one of our up and comers from our gym here in Temecula with Dan. That kid's getting good, man. He's freaking has hands of stone. he hits hard. So he's one of my main sparring partners, and yeah. So right now the camp's been going good. And obviously Jesse Taylor is always a big part of my camp. I already spoke with him, and so I can get that wrestling in. I see that Maki every now and then. He's he'll shoot in and try to get you down and score those points. And he's a big kid. So, someone like Jesse, who's a lot bigger than me, size wise, and that kind of wrestling pedigree is definitely going to help me for the fight.
For sure. Now, last time we did see you compete, August of last year, was a loss to Sadiya Parker. What did you learn from that one?
I don't want to make excuses, but it happens. But, I didn't want to back out of the fight because one, it was my friend's promotion and they were so close to the fight. I hate when people pull out of fights with me. and I was literally sick. We had to change the weight class because I was out for 2 weeks. I couldn't do anything. So, but I wasn't about to pull out of the fight. You know, I had won my first fight before that. And then Sadai he's tough, you know. And he came in with a good game plan. He cracked me kind of early, and then I started kind of taking over with my striking. And then once that kind of started, I think where he started getting a little more tired, he started shooting in for takedowns and was able to land some. I was able to scramble back up. He did score the points. And so, yeah, it just played out the way it did. It sucks, you know, but that's the game, you know. If I didn't take the fight, then I would have been fine. But I don't like when people do it to me. So at the same time, I think from that fight till this one, I don't have a huge layoff, and I know that affects me also. Anything over 6 months, you're gonna come in with jitters and nerves. One thing that I know from that fight to this one, I don't have any nerves. I know what I did wrong, and I know what happened. So, you know, I'm going into this fight with an 8-week camp, and I know I'll be well prepared. And obviously, I'm doing everything I can to make sure I'm healthy.
All right, before we talk about the specifics of this matchup with Maki on March 4th at Tuff N Uff, I want to get a couple of fight picks from you. I'm intrigued to see who you're picking in a couple of specific matchups. So Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker, the rematch for the middleweight title. Let's start with that one. Who do you see winning?
I think Robert's going to have to come in with a different game plan. He's going to have to do like a in and out action, kind of like how I was doing with Paige in the second and third round, in and out, because anytime you're running in at somebody with that long of reach, I mean, it already showed what happened to him the last fight. He was running in, trying to get to him, and he got knocked out. You can't just rush in. That's their job. Their job is to use their reach and counter. And so with those guys, you got to kind of keep them at the end of their punch. And if you notice, like when Jan Blachowicz fought him, he did that to Israel Adesanya. Kept him at the end of the punch and would step back, kind of get him overreaching. Then he would be able to shoot in, get him down. And I think Robert Whittaker has the ability to be able to get him down and hold him there. So I see it kind of being a ground fight as well. But I think he'll come in with that game plan where he's bouncing in and out more. And if he lands a couple of takedowns first, I think he'll be able to get the knockout later on because he's going to be worried about the takedown. Then he'll be able to land some hands. So I'm picking Robert Whittaker on this one. Different game plan.
Okay, I love it. I'm a huge fan of Bobby Knuckles. I'd love to see that happen because then we get to see the trilogy, and who wouldn't want to see that, right? So Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, a grudge match, best friends, now enemies, fighting the same weekend as yourself in Las Vegas, man. It's a big fight, a lot of animosity. Who's going to win this one?
You know, I think I saw another interview with like Bilal Muhammad had said that they kind of know each other very well. You know, Jorge is gonna know the style of wrestling. He could go as hard as he wanted in the wrestling, but Covington had never been hit as hard as Masvidal can hit. So I think if you know, obviously Gamebred, he has to fight a little bit different because he normally fights kind of tall, you know, like a Muay Thai stance, throws those kicks. I think with Covington, he needs to start like more of the boxing teep kicks and jab at his chest, you know, punch him in the chest. So that way he has to lower his level so low that he's going to see the shot coming. You know, if he's aiming high, it's easier for him to get under the punches and take him down. So I think if he adds that stuff into his game, he should be able to, or hurt him at least where he could win. But I think after the second round, if Covington gets the takedowns, I think after the second round he'll be burned out, and then Covington would win.
Yeah, I think Cole.
The first 2 rounds, Masvidal. After the 2 rounds, I think it'd be Covington.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty bullish on Colby for this fight. I think he's gonna win impressively. But hey, what I'm more excited about is your fight with Maki Pitolo. Right, we're gonna talk about that March 4th in Las Vegas, my man. This is an interesting matchup. A guy's a little bit younger than you, a guy with a big name, right? So, and he's coming off 4 losses, like we talked about early. So he's going to be coming in there with something to prove. He doesn't want to, drop 5 in a row. So he's going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. What are you expecting from him? What kind of a fight do you think this is going to be?
I think he's gonna come in aggressive, like you're saying. He's got to try to get a win. He's obviously using this platform right now in Vegas to try to get that win and get himself back in the UFC. So my job is to go out there and put it back in his head that he's gonna lose the fight, And I think right now, since on the 4 losses, he's up and down with his emotions. He probably feels like he could win the fight. But if I start putting him in the position where he, like break him kind of mentally quick, I think it'll be a quicker, it'll be easier for me to beat him if I put it in his head right off the bat that it's a bad night for him. And I think, he'll still fight strong, but I think he'll start to wither once everything starts to set in. I've lost 4 fights, and now I'm losing this one. So I think he'll probably check out. My opinion, it is just what it is. That's what I think. And obviously I got to prepare myself to be able to put him in that position.
What round do you get it done?
The thing, I would say the second, but I think he's headstrong enough to make it to the second. But if not, I get ready for all rounds, so it doesn't matter. 3 rounds. Hopefully I knock him out in the first, but just put a statement down. But I'll take it. I'll take whatever he gives me.
All right, man. And how can people watch this if they're not in Vegas come fight night? Is there an app you can watch it on, or will it be streaming anywhere?
It will be streaming. They haven't given me that information just yet. We're still putting all that stuff together. My promo code and for ticket sales, all that stuff still being put together. It's not finalized yet. So once I get that, I'll be able to post and hopefully we do another interview, and then I can share that info.
Awesome, man. Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Fernando. Again, March 4th, Fernando Gonzalez, Maki Pitolo, main event for Tuff N Uff. Before I let you go, as always, man, I want to give you the floor. Anyone you want to thank, any sponsors you may have, please do so, and tell people where to follow you on social media.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, you can follow me at Menifee Maniac on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and Triller. So I'm trying to build up my social media again. So if you guys can follow me, please. And I want to give a big shout out to my sponsor with Dr. Toy here at CVAC, and my meal prep guys, and also my Juan Pollo sponsor, or Juan's Rotisserie Chicken. They switched it from Juan Pollo to Juan's Rotisserie. So they're always hooking it up with chicken. I'm always, always got plenty of protein to eat. So thank you guys. And we're getting ready, and we're going to put on a good show.